What's up, guys? It's me, JellyKnees, and I want to give you another rapid fire FTM that covers all of the MOBAs that I talk about, which is Paragon, the Overprime, Predecessor, and ETHEREAL, and kind of go over the news that we've had from them the last couple weeks, as well as some more recent stuff as well. With ETHEREAL, there's no news to cover, so we're not going to talk about them today, but we'll jump right into Paragon, the Overprime. So with Paragon, the Overprime, they did close out their CBT for their console version. We don't know the stats yet of how many players tried the console version. I feel like it was quite a bit. Every time that I talked to somebody or was on there myself testing out the game, it didn't feel like queue times were very long regardless of what time of day it was. So I'm very excited to see what stats they put out. Historically, they do put out a lot of stats about how many players and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be very curious to see that. They did quite a few patches during it to kind of ease some of the concerns and gripes that people had throughout. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. And then we'll see when that is going to return on console fairly soon. The other thing that they did is they added Morigesh to the game. Now, Morigesh, her kit is very similar to how it was in Paragon. For the most part, it's straightforward, but we'll talk about it a little bit here. Her left mouse button is just the ranged dagger throw. That's pretty normal. Right click is where she takes the soul of the enemy that she's targeting and keeps kind of a charge on it on herself and does damage. Bug bomb is her Q, which is normal. Her E is horde, which she turns into the flies, runs through minions, does damage, gains health regen. That's also very normal. And then her R is the ranged stab into the doll that targets the person that she targeted with her right click, which is normal. The thing that's not normal about this ability is they actually added a stacking mechanic so that if Morigesh gets the kill with this ability, she gains magical vamp, skill damage, and movement speed stacking up to 5 times. And I've seen Morigeshes get all 5 stacks, and dear Lord, help the other team, because she becomes a monster with all of those stacks. So I think she's a great addition. She's probably a little overtuned for the mid lane right now, but that's definitely something that they can work out with her. And they also dropped along a patch with Morigesh. So we can see that her skin here is Hurling Curse. It's kind of got longer hair, greener skin, and it's a pretty good skin. Not my favorite of their release skins, but still a decent skin, as well as a Cyber Wings Muriel and a Lycan Rampage. Now, this Rampage skin was a Paragon asset originally, but this Muriel skin is entirely original. They just released this and came up with this themselves, which is fantastic. They also added in a number of features and bug fixes. The biggest thing that I'd like to point out on this is the improved hero mastery points. These mastery points are for their mastery system, letting you earn up. Once you hit level 5, you get that skin. What they've changed is that if you're playing competitive, you actually get 2 times the mastery points. So they're trying to incentivize more of the competitive play, which is a fairly dead queue most of the time. So I love seeing that they're offering this as an option. The other thing that I am excited to talk more about is the Tion Invitational. Now, this is something that I've been working on behind the scenes with the team and crew over at Overpowered, mainly Ego, and I have been spearheading this. But we are doing a tournament. It is this weekend. So it's this coming Saturday and Sunday, and it is 8 teams, and the winning team will get $1,000. This is money that is being put up by myself and by Ego directly, that we are sponsoring this team. We are putting it together for October 7th and 8th. This will be live streamed, where we're going to be casting games, talking about it, and also giving away Kima to people in the audience. So if you're interested in watching an Overprime tournament with some of the best players in the game right now, definitely come check that out, because realistically, we've got a good bracket. We've got 8 teams going in. They'll be going through all the games. We'll have most of the games on the first day, and then semifinals and finals on the second day, being the 8th of October. Now, we'll have full spectator mode access to these games. We'll be able to kind of give you guys the play-by-play as we go through everything. But one of the biggest things about this tournament that we're excited about is it is officially going to be sponsored by Team Soulleaf, that they are going to be talking about the tournament. They're going to be posting videos on their YouTube. They're going to be announcing it. They're going to be promoting this tournament. And again, it's the Tion Invitational put on by Overpowered and FTM. We're really excited about this, and I'm excited to do more events like this going forward. Teams will get Kima as reward plus the money, but we'll also have Kima to give out to the audience as well. So we're really, really excited about this. I hope to see you all there. Links to Ego's Twitch, where we're going to be streaming this, will be in the description down below, and I can't wait to see you guys there. But the last thing the first thing I want to talk about when we switch over to Predecessor is the last competition that I actually ran, which was the Predecessor speedrunning competition. And I was so impressed with the reception of this from you guys in the Predecessor community, right? We did several hundred runs throughout the course of this speedrun challenge, and a lot of people that I didn't expect to be doing runs did a lot more runs than I expected. So the final 3 that I will be reaching out to give them their prize money is, I believe it is Tekken Kid in first, Elder in second, and MLG in third. So if you guys are watching this, reach out to me if I haven't reached out to you already, but I will be reaching out to figure out how we can get you guys that prize money. And thank you again to everybody that participated in this. This was so much fun to work on. Thank you, Intharth, for also running through all of these speed runs, because it was just a great time all around. And I look forward to doing more competitions like this going forward. But let's talk about what Predecessor's been up to in the recent weeks. They just dropped yesterday patch 11.2, which is a good balance patch. It's mostly jungle oriented. We can see Chimera is kind of the poster boy for the patch here. They did drop a new Revenant skin, again, a Paragon asset, and we will talk about the dev live stream in a little bit. But the majority of the changes that they went through were jungle related. So they actually changed how the hunt active works, and that it deals a damage over time. It used to be magical, but now it is true damage, which will make the damage more consistent across the camps. And the biggest change probably that they made is they've changed when camp timers respawn. So when the camps come back. Also they've changed how like the strength and health and numbers of each camp, but really the timers are the biggest thing. So the black, gray, white, and brown camps respawn time has been decreased from 135 seconds to 120 seconds. And then the red and blue buff camps have respawned, their timers have been increased from 240 to 250. So longer buff timers, but lower timers on all the other camps around the map. And I think that's a fantastic change. It'll make the camps more important than the lanes a little bit more, which will balance that out a little bit. But as well, they've made them that they stop leveling as much. They used to level up to level 15. Now they're going to stop at level 11, which means they're going to be slightly easier to kill in that late game scenario. So carries, mid laners, off laners can go into the jungle very quickly, pick up a camp if they need to, and then get back to their lane or back to the team fight or back to the objective, depending on where they're trying to go. I love these changes. I haven't had a chance to try them myself yet, but I'm excited to jump into the game very quick here. So they did a design dev live stream today, which was October 4th when this is being recorded. They did talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I highly recommend you guys go watch the full live stream yourselves. They did a lot of community questions. They talked about some of the questions that have been on the community's mind for quite some time. So I'll have that linked in the description down below, but definitely go watch that if you want to see more detail about all the things we're going to talk about here. I did compile a list of kind of the main things that they talked about that I think were interesting and I want to share with you guys. So that is, they did talk about they want to do even more jungle changes. Now this includes things like the leash timers and all of that kind of stuff and how quickly the camps reset. But also they talked about potentially doing some larger layout changes down the road. This is stuff that is not going to be coming very soon, but is something that they're looking into for the potential future. They also talked about potentially doing some economy improvements. Now this goes for gold and for XP as well. They're going to look and see if this is somewhere where they need to tweak any numbers, need to make it easier, harder for both gold and XP. Now, ranked mode is something they dove into quite a bit during the dev stream, and basically it came down to these things, that they do plan on releasing a ranked mode in early access at some point. No hard dates or deadlines on that mode. They will use that mode in its form going into free to play, and then sometime early in free to play, they will launch an official season 1 ranked mode, which will be the official start of an official ranked season for Predecessor. Now, again, that's going to come after free to play release, but at least we have a little bit more information talking about ranked mode. They also talked about some new game modes, and that they have one that's kind of in the works where they're going to use it to be testing some larger changes, but that mostly the new game modes are going to be coming significantly in the future, that we're going to have to wait and see what those are once they feel like the player base is in a better spot, as well as their resources and time are in a better spot to more effectively try and create new game modes for Predecessor. Another area is the map changes, that they are going to be testing some map changes in this game mode that they're working on right now to see like what the players think about it, if it's good, it's bad, otherwise, and then we'll be potentially looking at something going into the future for map updates in the game for the main 5v5 game mode. They did talk about things like they do want rotation times to be slightly faster. They want the map to be bigger. They want more verticality in the map, but there's no definitive time frame for when those things are going to happen. Then there was a question about seasonal events happening. So in Paragon and Paragon the Overprime, we saw that they did like a winter fest where the map changed physically and you had some different assets on the map. They said that this year they are not going to do any cosmetic changes to the map, but they are still planning on having a seasonal event of some kind. Now, whether that's Winterfest or like a Halloween event, they didn't really say one way or the other. I'm leaning more towards Winterfest, being that that's a little bit more of the ways out. But that is the plan. They'll have to just wait and see if they're able to stick to that plan going into wherever this event falls. One of the biggest things, though, that they talked about in terms of, I think, for us as players that we care about and want to know more about is hero affinity or their mastery system. So during this live stream, they actually leaked or teased, or however you want to phrase it, the Drongo affinity skin. They did say that these affinities will be dropping hopefully in the 0.12 patch. So this will be the patch that comes out in about 3 weeks, that these affinities will be dropping for all the heroes in Predecessor. This is just the Drongo skin that they were teasing during the live stream. Hero mastery is going to be a massive boon for Predecessor because it's going to be a way for them to continually keep players engaged and be a retention system for players that don't just want to play the game, they want something to grind for. This will be a great thing to grind for. We'll have to wait and see what the grind looks like for these hero affinities or these masteries for each one, how long it takes, what levels you have to reach to get certain things, if there's different thresholds. All of that's going to become clear in due time. They did say they probably will do a blog post or maybe a video about these affinities before they come out, but we still have 3 weeks for that to happen. All in all, I'll leave links to everything that I talked about in the description of this video. I appreciate you all very much, and I hope you all have a great one, and I'll see you next time.